Well, all right. Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. It's digital host A.J. Wuest here, welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I go through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. I hope you all had a fabulous weekend. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for starting the week here with me. Wherever you're watching Before the Four this afternoon, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, I say it every day. Thank you so much for watching and spending just a bit of your Monday afternoon here. Now first, let's begin with a look at the weather for this week. It is even hotter this week than last, and that certainly says something. Today and tomorrow, a 48 first alert weather day is in effect due to the dangerous heat. First Alert meteorologist Jeff Denoyer with everything you need to know. Jeff?
A very good Monday to everybody. We're tracking the heat, the humidity as advertised. We talked about it for the past week and how Monday and Tuesday in particular would be very hot and probably come close to being the hottest day of summer so far. And many locations have not disappointed. High temperatures today were near 100. Feel like temperatures about 110 at one point. And we're going to do it all over again tomorrow after a mostly clear, warm and muggy night. A few thunderstorms try to develop during the day today. If any of them do linger into the evening, they're going to come to an end really fast. It's mainly a dry night and just really uncomfortable. And then on Tuesday, temperatures once again taking off mid to upper 90s. Feel like temperatures around 105 to 110. And there is a chance for some storms in the afternoon. I think the coverage again will be very isolated, much like it was today. But if you do have a storm, it will cool you off briefly. The higher chance of rain, though, will come in on Wednesday and for the rest of the week. Heat advisory in effect until 9 p.m. on Tuesday for the dangerous heat. It's all common sense stuff. If you feel uncomfortable when you're outside, start to feel dizzy, you just want to take a break and go find some air conditioning, some bottled water, some shade, take a break, check on your pets, check on your elderly, and for no reason should any pet or child or person be left in a car for any length of time with this kind of heat. Going to the end of the week, you see the chance of rain go up Wednesday. Wednesday's still hot and humid, but a big change comes Thursday and Friday. When you have more rain and you have more clouds in the forecast, it's hard for those temperatures to warm up. And we'll have some 80s to near 90-degree temperatures to close out the week. And looking ahead towards the weekend, no more heat and humidity. Temperatures only in the 80s, but the trade-off will be a really high chance of rainfall both Saturday and Sunday, not just in the afternoon, but in the morning times as well.
Well, absolutely good to know. And with this heat, make sure you're staying hydrated. I got my bottle right here, trying to stay as hydrated as I can in this just dangerous weather. But of course, I say it every day, First Alert Weather Extra. You're just not going to want to miss it. That will be tonight at 9:30. You can watch it wherever you're watching Before the Four right now. First Alert meteorologist Jeff Denoyer, he'll be back here in the CTV Center, and he'll have all the latest that he is seeing on the radar. He always has a great time with it. Feel free to leave a comment. He will shout you out, and he will respond to any questions, concerns you might have. But yes, First Alert Weather Extra, you're just not going to want to miss it. But now, moving over to the big story from over the weekend, moving out to Scottsboro, where a police officer was shot while responding to a domestic incident on Ruth Street. After the shooting, the suspect then fled the scene, sparking a manhunt for him that lasted for 20 hours on Saturday. The suspect is now in custody, and the officer is expected to be okay. That officer today was identified as Derek Porch. 48's Faith Delp with how that manhunt went down.
I went and talked to residents who live inside the perimeter police set during their 20-hour manhunt yesterday. One woman, Cynthia Smith, says police told her to lock her doors at 5 in the morning on Saturday, and she didn't unlock them until Sunday morning.
There were officers walking the street, and it kind of startled me at first, but I felt safe because I knew that their presence here meant that we were okay.
Smith has lived in Scottsboro for almost 40 years. Her husband was actually the former police chief here. She told me all the years he worked for the police department, nothing like this has ever happened before. Investigators say the encounter with Daniel McCarn started with a domestic call around 1 a.m. on Ruth Street. Police tell us McCarn ran from the scene, sparking a brief chase. When he crashed his car a few blocks away, investigators say he started firing shots, hitting one Scottsboro officer. The next time police saw McCarn was just before 10 p.m. when thermal imaging cameras on a drone spotted him near some railroad tracks. He was quickly surrounded and surrendered. One resident sat and watched police drive by with McCarn. This is video of officers letting that neighbor know they got him.
Our guys in custody, so y'all good around here.
The officer who was shot is expected to be okay. Police are withholding his name for now. Smith told me her husband actually hired that officer years ago. As the wife of a retired police officer, Smith says she knows what it's like to worry when they go to work.
I know the wives and mothers and family members of all of these officers were concerned for their safety. And I know that they were thankful when they got home safe last night.
Smith adds she slept peacefully knowing McCarn was in custody and all the officers searching were safe as well. Reporting in Scottsboro, Faith Delp, 48 News on your side.
And again, today that officer was identified as Derek Porch. And continuing our coverage on this situation, Faith Delp is working to learn more today, so make sure to stick around for our evening newscast for any updates Faith might have. But now we're going to take a quick break, but coming up, the man accused of killing a Hartselle woman now seeking a mental evaluation. Down south, a new billboard in Birmingham is sparking controversy, and a sweet story you're just not going to want to miss. It's all ahead. I'll be right back in 1 minute. All right, well, hello and welcome back to Before the Four. Now, the capital murder case against a man accused of killing a Hartselle woman is headed to a Morgan County grand jury. Today, a detective testified that Wyatt Young, that's who you see on screen, claimed victim Nancy Deanne Sandlin Fox had put a spell on him and sexually assaulted him while he was volunteering at her shop. The detective testified that Fox's family called the allegations lies. According to officials, Fox and Young first met in 2022 when he volunteered at her shop. Young claimed that it was a madhouse and that Fox was performing spells on the workers, making them act like worms or believe they were someone else. Now, other people who worked at the shop disagree with Young's account, though. Others who worked there say when Young first started coming to the shop, he was taking medication before he stopped taking it regularly and became more erratic. They say Young would sometimes be screaming at the shop and began flirting with an underage girl, which made them uncomfortable. This action led to Fox and the team asking him to stop coming to the shop. The detective told the court he felt Young was having a mental health crisis of some sort. At the scene, a gun was found. In his vehicle, religious books were found, including a shooter's Bible, which outlined how to load and unload guns. In Young's home in Huntsville, investigators found 14 to 15 Bibles all set up in corners and turned to specific scriptures. Officials say there was also a hat made from aluminum foil. During the hearings, Young's attorney gave notice a request for a mental health evaluation, and we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more. But now in a bit of state news, a new billboard on the Red Mountain Expressway is catching eyes and controversy, drawing attention to President Trump's interactions with Jeffrey Epstein. Zoe Blair spoke with the owner of Bright Blue Dot about why they put the billboard up. Let's take a look.
Driving down the expressway, it's a message that's hard to miss. Asking Trump and Epstein, what's the big secret, fellas? Joellen Beckham is partly behind the advertisement's existence. She hopes it draws more attention to the so-called Epstein files, pressuring them to be released.
It honestly will be heartbreaking if we just bury this without answers.
That's what Beckham and the team at Bright Blue Dot are hoping to get with the advertisement. Answers to questions surrounding past interactions between President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
If you have somebody who's representing your country who has been pals with, that's his word, or best friends with, who is a sexual predator and whom we don't know if he was involved in that or not, that's something we all need to know.
Typically, the organization's billboards focus on issues affecting us locally here in Alabama. Beckham says this issue affects every state, including ours.
This is something that, again, is about our nation and who we are and whether we're decent people. No, I can't imagine any other nation having somebody who has flirted with pedophilia. I just can't even imagine it.
Beckham says it's not just Democrats feeling this way. The billboards are funded by Alabamians from both sides of the aisle.
We have hundreds of people from across this state who are participating financially in getting this done. It's not a group of elites. It is people from all walks, from all over the state, who feel it's important for this stuff to be discussed and heard about.
And now ending it off with an awesome story for your Monday afternoon. If you've ever gone to a roller rink, you know it can be a fun place for a birthday party. But what about for your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather? Local News Live's Ron Lee introduces us to a man who refused to let his age define him. Let's take a look.
Skating's been in my life.
Most of us don't get a reserved parking spot in the front row or just about anywhere you want to go. But for Gene Elliott, it's no ordinary day.
So great to see you again.
Gene is back here at Skateland USA in Newton, a place he's been coming for decades, and the signs of his history at this rink are evident even before you walk in the front door.
This is my 89th birthday right here.
But if you think Gene's just here for the atmosphere and won't lace up, then you don't know Gene.
You want the skate to fit very snug.
Gene has been skating since the age of 5, back when Calvin Coolidge was in office. And if you're keeping track, that was 17 presidents ago. He even met his wife, Mary Lee, of 57 years at a roller rink. But according to Gene, it wasn't love at first sight.
And one of the girls asked Mary Lee, Mary Lee said, why don't you like Gene? And she says, he's too big of a show-off. A year later, we were married.
When the dark times came in 2006 and Gene lost his wife, he said it was his love of skating that brought him back.
I had so much fun, I kept skating, and I've been here ever since.
Before his wife passed, they had 2 children, and his children had children, and their children had children, and their children had children, and their children had children. In all, 5 generations were here to celebrate on his special day. So many, it's sometimes hard to keep track of them all.
Well, yeah, it's like there's a Justin and a Jason and a 2 Coys and all these different names. It's a big family.
All of whom share Gene's love of skating. Now, Gene doesn't quite get around like he used to. These days, he uses a stabilizer to help with balance. It even comes with his own little horn to clear the path as he rounds the curves. But he spent more time with family and friends getting hugs and taking selfies than on the skating floor.
Happy birthday to
Soaking up the moment, hoping he never wakes up from a dream that most of us will never know.
This is about the greatest night in my life.
That is so awesome. Love to see it. That is my goal. If I can be 89 and still look as good as him and still be kicking it like that, I know I have made it. Awesome story there. And speaking of which, let's go into the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. Back to school, hard to believe, I know. 48's Callie Neese will have everything you need to know for heading back to the classroom. Coming up, a new text message scam going around Lawrence County. Get those details. And finally, details on a new road widening project in Madison County. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. And it is 3:54, y'all. It is time for Facebook fun. And our 48 Facebook question of the day today: what's one thing you can't live without? And let's see, what is something you can't live without? Let's see what you all had to say. My family, absolutely. Eddie Robertson, thank you so much for commenting. Family is everything, 100%. Linda said chapstick, especially in the summer. If the sun's beating down on your lips, got to keep that chapstick applied, absolutely. Sonia Garrison, my kids and grandchildren. Oh, that is so sweet. Absolutely. Cherish it. Cherish your family. Love to see it. Cynthia said sodas. Hey, on days like this, sometimes I want a nice, cold, crisp Coke. Nothing wrong with that. A soda every now and then. Shug said, WAFF 48 News. Shug, thank you so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Air conditioner, that's what Laura Stiegler said. That is probably my most appreciated thing right now is my AC unit in my apartment, especially with this heat. It's no joke. Michelle said coffee. Absolutely. I feel like you're either an energy drinker or you're a coffee drinker. I'm an energy drinker. Nancy said Jesus, my family, and dogs. The big three right there. You got to cherish the big three. Thank you so much for commenting. You always have awesome comments. I always appreciate it, and I love hearing from you all and seeing what you all have to say. But y'all, that is just about all the time I have for today's Before the Four. But thank you so much for tuning in today, spending a bit of your Monday afternoon here. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy tonight's evening newscast, and as always, thank you so much for watching. You all have a great night.